is all right. My name is Deji Onodeko, and I am the CEO founder here at Red Lantern Media, and I'll be your moderator today, right? So big ups to everybody who's joined us. Thank you very much to our speakers who are joining us today. We're here to discuss something that affects millions of businesses, business owners across Nigeria. To say millions, with how big the word millions is still an understatement. To state it properly is to say we're here to discuss something that affects every single business, no matter your size, no matter your revenue, no matter your staff strength, no matter whatever, it affects every single business, and that is structure. And more specifically, as decided by our people at Budgeti and Smeden, we are titling this "How SMEs Can Grow Their Businesses with Structure." How SMEs can grow their businesses with structure. And, if I personalize this a little bit, especially from the sector of the industry that we come from, the marginal difference between a company with structure and a company without structure is ridiculous. From the ease of business, the ease of control, ease of understanding, the oversight, the reduction in mistakes that could happen just because of you're able to activate structure. Cannot be overstated. So, how SMEs can grow their businesses with structure. If I were you, I'll have a pen and a paper ready to jot, ready to learn. This is a mashed up masterclass, one of the best that you'd experience this year. And note that in Nigeria, there are over 39 million SMEs, which form the backbone of our economy. Yet many still want without financial systems needed to grow and attract funding or stay truly resilient. We are the backbone. We business owners are the backbone of this economy. That's something we can beat our chest to say for sure. But what's a backbone without it being properly arranged, it being properly structured? That's what we're here for. That's why this partnership between Budgeti and Smidan is so important. Today, they're helping SMEs access the tools they need to manage their business finances efficiently and ensure accountability and improve access to funding. Yeah, I'm sure, that part, if nothing has been exciting, access to funding is something that everybody would like to have access to. I don't know if there are expressions here, but as just in case, you can drop a comment. Let me know that you're hearing me. Let me know that I'm talking to everybody. Feel free to drop comments in the chat box. Feel free to meet somebody in the chat box. Like, let's get it. Let me be the first to go there. Hello, everybody. So that let's all get very interactive. Hello, everybody. Please, somebody should answer me
Hello.
like I'm on this
Hello,
calling.
good morning.
Hello, Mr. Adobelo. Good morning.
Mr. Alstabi moderator, good morning. Good to hear from you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank
Good
you, sir.
morning.
Sir. Thank you, sir. Good morning. Good morning. Just go to me like
Good
good
Good Moses. Good morning.
morning. Good morning. Good Moses. Good
Good
morning.
morning, everyone.
Good morning, everybody. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much. Aha. That's what the ginger I needed, just to be sure that we're not on this alone. Fantastic. Now, before we go to it, right, I'll tell you just a little bit about Budgeti and just a little bit about Smidan, the Small and Medium Enterprises Development Agency of Nigeria, right? Now, with Budgeti is an all-in-one finance management platform that gives your business complete control over how money moves across teams, budgets, and approvals, right? From expense tracking to vendor payments, smart corporate cards, and real-time financial reporting. Budgeti brings all your finance operations into one unified platform. I assure you of the certainty of what this feels like. You would hear from our guests today and you'll know for sure. I'll be introducing them very soon, but not without introducing the very, very amazing firm, agency here in Nigeria called Smidan for short, but fully meaning Small and Medium Enterprises Development Agency in Nigeria, the backbone of Nigeria's SME support system. They have been empowering millions of Nigerian entrepreneurs with access to knowledge, funding tools, and markets for the past 20 years. And I have several people within my space, my network, that have been fantastic beneficiaries of the Smidan organization. So right before I go into it, thank you, Smidan, for all that you do, for how you've supported our businesses across Nigeria for the last 2 decades. That's a long time. At their core, Smidan is committed to helping SMEs think big, start small, grow sustainably, and grow fast. Alrighty. Now, let me introduce your speakers, ladies and gentlemen. I have joining us, you already heard his voice, the very, very amazing Director of Enterprise Development and Promotion at Smeden. It's an honor to welcome you, sir, to this meeting, Mr. Ado Bello. You can just say hi once again. Okay, I'll just continue.
Hi. Thank you so much for
fantastic. Fantastic. And then also joining us, the Associate Director of Enterprise Development, the very amazing Dr. Funto Babaride. Welcome very much once again, ma.
Good morning, everybody.
Yes, good morning. Thank you.
It's nice to be here.
Yes,
Thank
ma'am.
you.
Yes, ma'am. Both of these key players are key drivers of Leaders' mission to empower Nigerian SMEs to prosper forward. They'll be sharing the agency's perspective on how structured systems can unlock access to meaningful opportunities for small and growing businesses, including funding. Now, representing Budgeti, we have Sami, the Chief Operating Officer, who will walk us through how Budgeti works and how this partnership makes it easier for SMEs to drive financial discipline, scalable growth, and funding readiness. Sami, if you're here, you can just say hello.
Hello, good
I know
morning.
you're here.
Thank you very much.
Hi, Sami.
Thank you for the introduction. I'm happy to be here with you and with my friends from Sweden.
Yes, please. Yes, please. Very welcome, Sami. And last but definitely not the least, and most importantly, we have Mrs. Afiza Bello, the CEO of Ovum Plus Limited, who will share how putting structure in place through Budgeti is set to transform how she runs her business. Hello, Mrs. Afiza Bello.
Hi. Good morning, everyone.
Yes.
Pleased to be here too. It's my pleasure.
Your excitement sounds like that of an actual entrepreneur. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Yes. Ladies and gentlemen, please remember, as we go into this conversation, we would like that while you're paying attention and taking notes, if you have questions, just drop it in the chat box. My people are going to create them together and make sure that we're going to put it together to make sure that you are able to we're able to access questions to our speakers as we go on. So yeah, thank you very much. Now, I'm going to start with Mr. Adobele. The conversation is about to get started. Pen and papers, years out. Let's get into it. I'm going to start with Mr. Adobele from Smeden's perspective, right? What does structure actually mean for an SME, right? And forgive me, I'm going to add one more question to it, which is, why is this such a solid foundation for a company or a firm or a business's sustainable growth? I'll repeat it again. What does structure actually mean? And why is this important for sustainable growth for a business?
Okay, thank you so much, Mr. Moderator. Thank you. So maybe you need to meet some other people here. There's a noise coming in.
Hello, please, if you're not speaking, you should mute. Please pay attention to make sure that you're muted at all times so you don't become we don't distract ourselves. Also, admin, make sure to mute people. Pay attention to that to help us mute people that are talking in between. So sorry, Dr. Adobelo. We can get to it now.
Okay. So thank you so much, Mr. Moderator, and thank you for having me here. Even though I've actually complained to Mr. Ezra that I have limited time to spend because I have to stand in for the DG in another engagement I was about to start in the next 15 minutes. So what I will just quickly respond to your questions. Then there are other comments, observations. I think my questions and first. Hello.
Sorry, Dr. Adobelo, what did you say, sir? Your network was hackling a little bit.
I have limited time to spend, so I will try as much as possible to respond to your questions.
Okay.
And then if there are other inquiries or responses, Dr. Funto is here. She can always respond to such things.
Okay.
So
Thank you very much.
by definition, I think an organization structure defines the framework within which roles, responsibilities, processes, and communications flow in a business. It actually outlines who does what, who reports to whom, and how decisions are made. Now, depending on the size, operations, and possibly visions of a business, functional structure should be organized across like certain of departments like sales, marketing, design, production, accounting. This is ideal for like a small and medium-sized business. Now, most MSMEs are actually born out of the passion to set up businesses, not really out of like a management framework. So they have common reasons where they try to avoid creating an organizational structures. Some of these reasons, they are just mere sayings. When you get to businesses, you hear them saying, we are too small for that right now. Everyone already knows what they are supposed to do. So they try, I don't know, for whatever reason, try to avoid instances of creating solid structures. Or probably we'll fix it when we get, well, probably when we grow bigger. So these are the common sayings when you visit businesses. It just makes some wish statements and probably not knowing that there's a lot of repercussions around it. But the basic truth is lack of structures leads to hidden stress. It leads to duplications of efforts. It causes delay in decisions and unclear accountability. And you know, in running a business, there should be accountability. And that is why we keep saying that most businesses die at the very first stage of their formations, probably ignoring this very important component of having structures. So let us also look at some of the key benefits in a well-defined organizations that has a solid structure. One of such key benefits is to have very clear roles. This will probably bring about less confusion, to bring about more productivity. Defined roles also avoids the classic too many cooks in the kitchen that they could not produce a very good plate of jollof rice. So when everyone knows their core responsibilities, overlaps reduces, tasks get done faster, and employees take ownership. And this is very, very basic. Why, especially if you're leading an organization, this is important that you need to assign roles and responsibilities. Then the second aspect is accountability and performance tracking. Structure establishes reporting relationships, making it easier to set targets, measure performances, and implement key performance indicators. Structured team may rely on informal alignment and delays, while a structured setup
So
allows
there's
for
no video or
regular meetings.
anything.
It's my bandwidth that's very low, so I can't be able to put on my video. I'm sure people are getting me. Are we on the same page? Hello?
Yes, Dr. Adobelo, please go on. I'm not
Okay,
sure if it's
okay.
not,
So,
directed to you.
so a structured setup allows for regular meetings. It allows for having the formats to report and issue resolutions in a very faster ways. Then another important point is scalability and growth readiness. Without structure, growth adds chaos, but with a defined hierarchy, you can plug in new employees, onboard faster, and distribute responsibilities efficiently. One other important key benefits around having a structure is it reduces the founder dependency theory. In many businesses, the business owner ends up being the hub for all decisions. With a structure in place, delegation becomes natural, freeing up the founder's time for
I'm
strategic
sorry,
focus.
Dr. Bello. You said it
Yes.
reduced. What was that term you used there?
Okay, I says reduces the founder dependency theory because in most cases, most businesses rely heavily or probably 101% on the founder for every decisions at every stage. And this actually reduces the speed at which the business is supposed to grow. So when you assign roles and responsibilities, the tendency is that there are some very important decisions that an employee and a well-trained employee can easily consider taking without little supervisions. I can give you a number of instances, more especially in places that I have been. And then in my own style, I try as much as possible to give my own support staff more free hands to operate. And I really don't have any cause for concern because over time we work together. I can probably be able to assume that they can provide the very best. So I think this is a very important point that people should consider. Founders, business owners should try as much as possible to give their own subordinates more time and more latitude to operate. Now, a functional structure organized across departments, like I said, science, marketing, design, production, accounts, it helps the business to do, to achieve a lot within the shortest possible time. Now, let us also consider some of the steps or guides to creating the basic organizational structures. One, you have to list all core functions. Like I said, marketing, design, production, purchase, quality control, accounting, human resources. You have to list all of these functions across the way and manner you run your business. You equally have to define roles with each functions. Example, if you take the case of production, who is your supervisor, who is the planner, who is the operator? You get to know at every level who is supposed to be doing what. So if there is some challenges in the course of running such a business, you know where to hit, you know where to put your complaint at, and this is easily resolved. Then thirdly, you assign for what kind of decisions, so much that it doesn't even have to get to the founder at the very top. It can easily be dealt with if probably you have some subordinates that can easily identify a key challenge, and then you can now easily connect with his nearest supervisor and be able to resolve. But if it is something that they cannot be able to handle, I think they can also try as much as possible to see how they can reach to the more senior supervisor without having to begin to say, okay, why is the founder? How can we reach out to him? Another important steps that needed to be taken is document job descriptions and responsibilities. This has to be very clear that which role is each person supposed to do. Outside just defining the roles, you equally have to document it as a job description in formal organizational structures like in government organizations. We call them schedule of duties. Each officer knows what he's supposed to do. If there is a tax, you probably have little time to spend trying to define who does. Another important point, I think, what steps that we need to consider is communicate the structure to the team. Introduce maybe through meetings or posters, make sure that everyone understands and respects it. Let it be like an organizational culture. People should have this approach to teamwork. Have your meetings, always make them to understand that this is what is expected. And once you have that commitment, I can guarantee you that a lot of businesses will prosper within the shortest possible time. Another steps that also needed to be taken is you also have to begin to look at possibilities of doing reviews and updates periodically. You don't just have to wait till probably after the end of the year before you can now review your schedules or probably some of the activities that needed to be undertaken. That can be done within the span of like 6 months, 5 months, just to make them to understand that if you cannot perform on this role, I think there is a greater possibility that you can be moved to another department. And this is a very key important point that most businesses should deploy. I also want us to look at some of the common mistakes that MSMEs make in trying to avoid having a structure. One of it is overcomplicating too early. What that means is that don't create 10 layers of persons in an organization, meaning that you should have a very lean workforce, very effective one that can easily take and handle decisions. You also have to look at the possibility of keeping it only on paper. Make sure it follows a real decision and communications approach. I really don't know whether if you really understand this particular point, but what I'm trying to say is that everything should be documented and let people understand their roles and responsibilities.
Yes, sir.
And I think the last one is not aligning with business goals. In most organizations, in most businesses, people don't really want to align the goals of the business with the structure of the business. If you look at bigger organizations like let me give you an example. Right from the one they do the organizations, and that's why you keep seeing them venturing into so many fields, getting results in all areas that they ventured into. So I think these are some of the very important points that a business should consider in having a structure for it to be able to grow and prosper.
Amazing.
This is just my submission.
Amazing.
Thank
very
you
much
for your time.
Thank you, Dr. Bello. Before you run, especially since you've warned us that you don't have so much time with us, I just have one follow-up question for you. Take it as quickly as you can. And that's very simple, right? Hey, hi. You know, my business is small. I just started yesterday. Or you know, I've been doing my business for just 5 years or for 6 months. The real question is, at what point is it important? Because an average business owner who starts his business thinks to himself, the most important thing at this moment is to make profits, for my bottom line to make sense, for me to, you know, earn the bigger margin. But at what point is it important to to insert structure into your business? At what level of your business is this important?
Okay, thank you so much for that question. You know, we have this slogan is new than that. Before you can start any business, first thing first, you have to have all the knowledge around that business. And that is what a lot of people are overlooking. All they are saying is, I just needed XYZ amount of money to be able to make 1 million or 2 million in a week or in a day. But that is not where we are going. Acquire the knowledge first, understand the matrix or the intricacies around a particular business before you can venture into it. Now, back to your questions. The need for having the knowledge is important. And that is why I think in recent times, Sweden has decided to come up with some high flyers in terms of giving MSMEs the very best in terms of knowledge about all other businesses. So we have this model that Sweden has recently deployed, and that is the ICSS. The I stands for Inspire, C stands for Create, the first S stands for Start, and then the last S stands for Scale Up. Now, this model is being deployed to cover all these components that you just raised, especially at what points can you be able to have those structures in place. When you take the case of Inspire, now this is the very first decision that an MSME is supposed to take. Am I supposed to go solo by being a business owner? Am I supposed to work for governments? You take the basic and major decisions at that particular point, and that is the Inspire. Now that Inspire has about 24 modules under it that takes MSME through. Then at point of creation, that is the ideation stage. Now you need to have ideas, validate your ideas, get cross-cutting opinions and suggestions from other stakeholders or other people that have been in such businesses. So that by the time you start, the tendency is that you have little pitfalls to fall into. So, but like we said, at point of maybe starting your business, ensure that all those components of having an organizational structures are probably identified and put in place, because it's basic and it's important. Without a structure, I can guarantee you that just give that business some little days, it will come. And that is what's needed is how to correct. And back to our partnership with Bujeti. Honestly, I had opportunity to with my team. I have looked, let me not begin to mention what, but Flutterwave came to us. We had an extended discussion with them. You know, Flutterwave is a unicorn now. So we assume that whatever they are bringing is something that we can easily fall into. Well, I took a so-called look at what they are putting before Sweden and the MSMEs. I was not really in a hurry to take a decision on that. And I probably told my DG that, please give me more time. Let me understand where they are coming from. Now, but when Bujeti came, and the very first day I had interaction with Mr. Ezra, I now called my deputy, Dr. Funko. I said, look, this is the guy we are looking for. Let's just stretch him. Let's find everything about him. So the first thing I told Bujeti to do is go and become a business development service provider, because that is the starting point. It's now a rule in Sweden for anything Sweden has to do with you, you must be a licensed BDS. And before I can say Jack Robinson, Mr. Ezra was already onboarded on the course. And I'm so glad to hear that he has already finished his online courses. Now, the thing about it is that we look at the value propositions, we saw what Bujeti is offering to the MSMEs. And even the cost around it is so friendly that at a point, I'm even considering if Sweden can subsidize some of these fees to the MSMEs at the very beginning, so that when they begin to see the benefits around it, probably they can even pay Bujeti more. But we are glad to hear that. And I can guarantee you that the dashboard that Bujeti is offering to MSMEs, I think this is something that we need, and this is where we are going to begin to escalate the story and be able to make it more palatable for our MSMEs, because this is the type of structure that our Nigerian MSMEs are missing. The world is going digital. If you don't show up, probably you might get missing in the crowd. So this is just my submission.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you so very much, Mr. Adobelo.
Yes.
You gave us that crash course. Please help us mute whoever isn't meant to be unmuted. It was that very fantastic crash course. Thank you so very much. Thank you for also touching down on the importance of this partnership with Bujeti. Really amazing. I can imagine all the conversations that had gone on behind, and I appreciate the intentionality. So we are sure that this is not just another partnership, but it's a partnership which you should pay attention to, and you've seen how benefiting it is to those that would benefit from it.
In fact, in the next couple of days, we are going to have that MOU signed. I'm just trying to track my DG, and we even want to bring Bujeti to a bigger picture, because Midan is doing a lot. In the next couple of weeks, we are going to host the African MSME Africa MSME Forum. The president has accepted to host that. The hosting right has been given to Nigeria, and the president has tasked a committee, which Midan is serving as the secretary, to ensure that this forum is hosted by Nigeria. So we want to look at the value propositions around the forum and see how we can begin to inject partners like Bujeti, because I believe in their capacity and I believe they can do more. I had some little engagement with Sami, but from the passion he has shown during our induction of the BDSPs, I can see that there is more to be done with Bujeti.
This is very relieving, amazing. Thank you very much for the validation that you've given to such an amazing and practical product like Bujeti. And thank you for the work that you do as SMEs. Thank you once again, Mr. Adobelo.
Thank you so much. Thank you. So my deputy is there, Dr. Funto. She can easily respond to most of the inquiries.
Yes, please. Thank you very much for joining.
Thank you so much. Yeah.
Thank you very much. If you can, feel free to clap in your mind for Mr. Adobelo. That was a fantastic time. He's left us with Dr. Funto, and I still have on this call Sami, and I still have on this call, of course, the very amazing Mrs. Afizabelo, the CEO of Oven Plus Limited. Now, before I come to Sami, I'm just going to touch base just a little bit with Dr. Funto, and then I'll talk to Sami, and then we can touch down with Mrs. Afizabelo. Stand by, this conversation is just getting started. Dr. Funto, now on to you. The question I want to ask you is very simple, right? How the structure, because one of the things that Mr. Adobelo has pointed out is the possibilities, the availabilities of several opportunities, right? Through SMED, through Bujeti, through different through different stuff, right? How does not having structure hinder? Because I think it's important that we clear the grass first, right? While we're trying to access the tools, access the important things. And this is us clearing the grass. How is it that not having structure can hinder you from benefiting, right? Or from accessing opportunities like what Smeden has on the table for us? How does not having structure hinder that process?
Good day, everybody, again. So the question is, how does not having structure hinder your ability to benefit from all of this?
Yes.
Structure is what tells us who you are. Structure tells us clearly who you are, how you are operating, where you are operating. So when you don't have a structure, you become difficult to find in the crowd. Because part of structure says you have a registered name. Part of structure says this is how the organization operates. And the clarity of your operation enables the business to work efficiently. So if you do not have a structure, the probability that you have operational clarity and operational efficiency is very close to zero. We're not saying you cannot run as a business, but it will be difficult to find what you're doing or to be able to evaluate what you're doing without an operational structure. Because there'll be a clear flow of how it runs, where you start, what you are doing, where you are, and where you are heading. Therefore, with the opportunity of having an operational structure, you can also leverage on opportunities. You will be limited without a structure. You won't be able to take advantage of opportunities available. There are government opportunities, there are partner opportunities, there are international partner opportunities, there are private sector opportunities, there are development opportunities that are available to MSMEs. But if you are not known, it's difficult for you to access any of those things. So first of all, there would not be operational clarity, like I said. Also, you will not have access to the opportunities that are available, whether with partners, whether in terms of funding, whether in terms of market opportunity, whether in terms of scalability. You will not be able to get any of that if you do not have a structure, because no bank, for an example, Bujeti cannot work with you if you're not registered. If you don't have at least a business name, at least a business name. But better still, not just have a business name, but have a structure that is working. It makes it easy for them to come in. These are the gaps. This is where you need help, and then you can be helped. But without structure, that would be very difficult. Also, adaptability is a very major requirement. Your business will struggle with its structure, and it will find it very difficult to adapt to whatever is happening in the immediate market. We know the market is always changing. If the market is always changing, you as an SME should be aware of the changes and adapt in such a way that your business thrives and grows, and not that your business dies. But that's going to be very difficult to do.
Hello, Dr. Fonta. Please let me know if I'm the one that lost her or if anybody else can hear me.
Oh my, can you hear me? Hello, can you hear
Yeah.
me?
Getting better. Yeah. We can hear
Yes.
you now. Yes, we can hear you now. We can only hear you for the last, say, 10 seconds.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you now. We
Yeah.
lost it for the last 10
Okay,
seconds.
apologies. I think there's a bit of unstable
It's okay.
network. So I was talking of scalability.
Yes.
If you heard me, can I see a reaction, please?
Now we can.
Okay. So I said I was talking about operational clarity. I also talked about opportunity and access to other partnerships, whether international, local, funding partners. Those are some of the advantages of having structure. I also said that adaptability is made possible when you have structure, because there are some funding windows that come with specific areas of interest. Now, if you are not adaptable to what their objectives or their goals are, you may not be able to access it. But for you to be able to work in that direction, you must have an organizational structure that is working and know these are what we do. This is what we do, and this is what we need to adjust, or this is what we need to modify to be able to take advantage of those structures or those opportunities or those funding windows. The last I was talking about, but not the least, is scalability. We are in business to grow. We are not in business to remain in the same level. So what that means is that if you are a nano business, you should be looking at projecting to become a micro business. If you are a micro business, you should be looking at the possibilities of becoming a medium or small business. And if you're in the small, definitely you're targeting to become expanded to become a medium business. And we have our definitions for micro, small, and medium businesses. For nano businesses, if you have less than 3 staff, you are considered a nano business and you are working within the boundaries of 3 million. Your asset base and turnover is 3 million. You would be a nano business for SMEs. For micro businesses, if you have a staff of between less than 9, between 4 and 9, we would term you as a micro business and the total asset base you have is 5 million. But if you are above 9, from 10 to 49, that will be a small business, number of employees. That will be a small business and your asset base is 50 million and less. While for medium, it will be from 50 to 199 staff or employees, and you have less than 500 million asset base. So what am I trying to establish is there is every business, every MSME has a level it's operating and you can scale higher. Anybody above 500 million, we believe are large enterprises. Bugatti, I can assure you from our interactions with them, can relate with the small and with the medium, and I'm sure they're already working on something for the micro businesses. But without structure, you can't take advantage of any of these opportunities. I hope this gives a bit of light to the question.
Absolute
Thank you.
clarity. Clarity. Thank you so very much. You spoke about operational clarity. You spoke about scalability with your structure. You also spoke about which struck me more. You spoke about identity and how firms cannot even partner, cannot relate with you if you don't at least have an identity, the identity that is necessary for the level that you are. Someone is asking if the numbers you mentioned are per year, but like she said, it's asset based, which is not necessarily based on the time, but based on your current asset at that point in time. Assets could mean your resources, your physical acquisitions, whatever it is that you have that tends to help you with your business, sustains your business, keeps your business growing. And in relations to the staff number as well, it's also important to mention that these things are not necessarily cast in stone, but these structural explanation that she gave is just to make it easier for us to understand the level that our businesses are. It's now left to you to go back pen to paper to know what it is, where your business is, and what is necessary for your business at the level that you are. Thank you once again, Dr. Funta.
Welcome.
Yes. We'll still be running back to you in just a bit, but right before, let me touch down with Sami Chiba. He's been in the room from the very beginning. He's the Chief Operating Officer at Bugatti. So with all the amazing things that was said about Bugatti, we're about to hear one of his strongest representatives, one of his strongest team members to talk to us. And our question to him is very simple. And I don't see who better to ask, right? Everybody on this call, great knowledge, great experience with what it is they're talking about. And the question is simple. What does structure actually look like? What does it look like? How does Bugatti help business owners build that financial structure? But it would be nice for you to start from what does it look like? We've said structure. What does it look like when we see it, when we want it, when we're asking for it? What does it look like when it comes? Sami.
Thank you very much for your question. Yeah, very interesting question. What structure is actually in a business? In my opinion, from my point of view, structure is what takes a company from survival mode to growth and scale mode. It's really a shift from chaotic management based on intuition. Can you hear me?
Yes, now we can. Sorry about that. That's going to happen. Yes, you can go
Yeah, I
on
was
now.
saying that structure is a shift from chaotic management based on intuition and improvisation to a management that is based on operational discipline. I call it operational discipline because when you start a business, the first goal is to test the markets. You have an idea, just find your first users, and that's the most important thing. It's based on intuition. You think that there is a gap in the markets, you think that you have a solution for this gap, you try it, and yeah, you test. But at one point, you need to be disciplined. And this management relies on systems, on processes, and on governance frameworks. And the goal, as it has been said before, but the goal is really to understand that structure is not just like a fancy word. Being structured means being more competitive. We need to understand that internal processes are also part of our competitive advantage. You can have the best product, you can have the best services. If you are not, if your internal processes are not optimized, are not streamlined, you cannot be competitive. And someone with a service that is less attractive can be more competitive because of internal processes. Resilience. You need to anticipate the future and be adaptable to the future. Internal processes are like predictable actions for your businesses. So you know if something happens, that's the action that I have to take. So it helps you to anticipate the future. And obviously scalability. So basically, structure is the fact that it is the implementation of your strategy. You need to have a strategy. How do you implement your strategy inside your business? What are the rules of the game? In some areas like innovation, it requires more chaos and intuition. But when it comes to certain area of the business, especially financial management, discipline is key. You cannot play with discipline, especially in financial management. So that's exactly what we build and what we've done with Budgeti to enable financial discipline through an end-to-end financial management platform. So if we focus on the financial part of this structure, an ambitious company, a company that is ready to scale, must be able to have real-time visibility into their finance, plan and budget their expense, control and approve every naira that is spent, optimize the collection of customer receivables, and more generally balance working capital in line with its growth strategy. So you cannot grow, you cannot scale if you are not able to control your finances. I think it's the basic, the two first steps for, well, the three first steps for a business, in my opinion, is the fact that, as I said, first you test the market. You have an idea, you have no company, nothing, just you test it and you see if the market approves your idea. Then you create a company and you structure your finances. Once you have these basics, then you can grow and scale. So the most important part, the most strategic part of structure is the execution. How do you execute this structure? It's easy to define it. It's another thing to implement it. And I think the most important thing is to have the right people, the right processes, and the right tools. So for every part of your business, you need obviously to define the right people. Who is responsible of what? What is the scope of responsibility of each people in your team? What is the process? Basically, what do we do? If we talk about finance, for example, what is the process? When we collect funds, what do we do with this fund? At the end of the year, if we have extra cash, what do we do with it? Where do we invest it? If we have an expense, who is responsible of approving the expense? To what extent? What are the limits? What are the budgets? What are the forecasts? That's really important to define the process. And then you need to have the right tools to implement it. And I've seen a lot of companies juggling with different kind of tools, using manual processes, using paper-based processes, using emails and all to manage their financial processes. And that's why we built Budgeti, because we thought like there is a lot of brilliant people. The processes are known and it's not a big deal to make people understand the right processes for their business. But if they don't have the right tools, it will be impossible for them to implement it. So that's why Budgeti was created to enable ambitious companies to centralize all aspects of their financial management in a single platform.
Amazing.
So yeah, just last words, I think it's important to mention the fact that financial structure is a growth strategy. It's not just an internal activity. It must be included in your growth strategy.
Thank you very much, Sammy. Thank you very much. Two very important things that I picked out, right? The first is where you said that internal process can be a competitive advantage, right? And, to business owners out there, of course, while you're paying attention to your branding, the tone of your company, the quality of the products, all of that, the functionality of your process could also help you compete in the market. And the example Sammy gave there is somebody with maybe a more boring product or a more boring branding, or a more boring image or identity could have won on you only because it has a better structure, a better internal process. So to make sure that there are no cracked edges, one of the things you want to pay attention to is the structure. And then that does add up. Thank you very much, Sammy. Thank you so very much. I'll still have to run back to you. I'll still have to run back to Mrs. Afisa Bello. But very quickly, let me remind us why we're here. Ladies and gentlemen, once again, you are at this webinar brought to you by Budgeti and Smedan, titled How SMEs Can Grow Their Businesses with Structure. On this conversation, we've had Mr. Adobello, we've heard from Dr. Fonto, from whom we're still going to hear again. We've heard from Sammy, from whom we're still going to hear again. And of course, we've heard the voice of Mrs. Afisa Bello, from whom we're still going to hear from again. But I have one question for Dr. Fonto. Then I will have Sammy just describe something very quick for us once I ask, and then straight to Mrs. Afisa Bello. While these questions are going on, feel free to drop your questions in the box, in the chat box, so that we can ask it once we get to that part, which is not so far from now again. But Dr. Funto, I want to ask you, right, why is then this partnership important? I mean, luckily for us, we had Mr. Adobello describe to us very briefly what that feels like, but just feel free to touch down on it. We're inquiring now. Why is it so timely? Why is it so important? What impact do you believe this can have on SMEs across Nigeria? This is my question to you, Dr. Funto.
So why is the partnership important? The partnership is important because we need our SMEs to grow. We need them to scale. We need them to expand. We need them to do business and see themselves growing. We need them to apply their growth strategy and be able to make better turnover, better profits that would affect their immediate community, that will affect the state they are located in, and in the long run, the GDP for the country. So without the partnership, quite a number of the MSMEs might probably do their business manually or probably not even have a financial structure at all. But with the help of the partnership and with the ease in which Budgeti has structured its tools, I strongly believe that the businesses will have better financial management. That's one of the main benefits of this partnership. They will provide good tools that will help the MSME manage their finances effectively. And the issue of how much am I making, how much did I put in, how much have I spent is solved. If you approach a financial house and you are asking for funding, the question they ask is, so how much do you have? How much have you spent? What's your turnover? What's your net profit? A lot of small businesses cannot answer that question. With the help of the Budgeti tool, that question will be at your tips. You'll be able to get it from the system, and that solves that problem. The other part to it is that Budgeti is not just bringing this tool forward. We've agreed to have a capacity building angle to it. So we're not just bringing you something abstract, but we're also going to teach you how to use it. So which means there'll be a focus on training on the different aspects of the tool and what are the benefits to the MSMEs in their operations. That way, you're not just getting something that helps you, but you understand what you are getting and the results you get from it. The last but not the least is market access. With Budgetti, you can leverage on the platform for market access. There's so much connectivity between Budgetti and a lot of financial partners. And we really are hoping that our MSMs can leverage on those financial partners, particularly when you really need fund. Not the needing fund that I say I want money and I want 1 million and you don't know what you want to do with it. No. But from your organizational structure, from your financial statement, from your financial platform, we can say, okay, you need injection of this amount. When that is defined out, it becomes easy to liaise with a financial window to say, okay, so if you are bringing in this input into this business, this is what we project over time, that will be the turnover. So you find out that it's like making your business work with ease, and then of course you make more sales. If you have access to more markets, there's more money. When there's more money, you are happier. When you are happier, the economy is happier. And if the economy is happier, the country is also happier, because it's really about growing the businesses. We don't want our businesses dying within the first 3-5 years anymore. So those are some of the benefits of this partnership that we're hoping to achieve over a period of time.
Thank you
Thank
very
you.
much. Thank you very much. We don't want your businesses dying within the first 3 to 5 years. This is I'll take it to heart that that's probably one of the strongest sentences being circulated at SMEs. Your businesses must survive, and that's one of the good check of an agency out to support a business. Your business must survive. It's to the advantage of every one of us. It's the advantage to the advantage of the industry. It's for advantage to the competition. It's the advantage to the economy. Why your business must survive. So you're not only doing yourself or your family a favor when you structure your company, right? Every single one of us need your business to survive. And I like how the first line you said when you answered that question, when I asked, your first answer was, because we need your business to grow. That's your answer to the question of why is this partnership timely and important. We need your businesses to grow. There's nobody in business that does not look forward to growth, whether you're doing it right, whether you're not, whether you are experiencing growth, whether you're not. You want to grow. You need to grow. It's the one thing every single business has in common, a path. And that's why this partnership has come together. And the implication of that is this partnership will help your business grow. Now, Sammy, I'll touch base with you very quickly before I touch down with Mrs. Afiza. And now, because Dr. Funto mentioned, the importance of being able to track your expenses, the importance of being able to see your, to see your spending, to track your, track financial reports, and how important these things are in trying to raise finance, in trying to raise funding, trying to raise loans, trying to grow your business. How does Budgetti now help with the expense tracking? This is me wanting you to walk us through how Budgetti works as quickly as you can. How does Budgetti help us walk through, how does Budgetti help SMEs build structure? You want to give us the features, the real use cases, expense tracking. I hear about the corporate cards. I hear about, payment automation, financial reports, impress lenders and investors. To help you impress lenders and investors. How does Budgetti do this for you? I want to know.
All right. I will try to be as fast as possible, and I'll give you a general overview of what you can do with Budgetti and a use case that it can be common for a business. Imagine you are a small business. You start your operations and you if I can say, want to track your cash flow. How do you do it today? You have multiple bank accounts. You need to log into different bank accounts. You use spreadsheets to reconcile it. With Budgetti, you can just create an account, link all your bank accounts, create your bank accounts on Budgetti, and full visibility over your finances in one place. Then you start collecting funds from your customers. So you can use our invoicing feature where you can send your invoice to your customer, and you track in real time if they paid you or not, who owns you what. So instead of having paper invoicing, calling people on WhatsApp to see if they paid or not, or checking on your bank account, you can be notified in real time about the payment of your receivables. Then you start growing you want to do some digital ads. So you want to use Facebook to do digital ads. You need a card to do it, right? So with Budgety, you can make payments. We have different means of payments, and you can make your spendings directly from the platform. You can create corporate cards. You can make bank transfer. You can make bulk payments if you have multiple vendors to pay at the same time. But apart from the fact that you can make payment, you can also control and plan how you want to spend your money. So at the beginning of the year, you can say, okay, I'm still small, but still, I want to plan and budget the year. I have a budget for marketing of X million naira. I have a budget for sales of X amount naira. I have a budget for whatever. You structure the way you want to make your spending. You can limit the spending. You can define your spending limits, your spending policies. So you define, for example, for the marketing budget, I cannot spend more than this amount. For another budget, I cannot spend more than this amount. Then imagine you grow locally, so you have more sales. You need to hire people. You are not the only one that is managing the business, and you want to decentralize the financial management. What you can do is that you create a physical card, you give it to your employees. So each employee can have his own physical card, and you can control how they spend the money via their physical cards. You can give them access to the platform and tell them, okay, you are responsible of, let's say, buying things at the markets. You have these budgets allocated to you. You can do that kind of payments. If you don't respect the rules, you don't have to do nothing. You can trust the process, and you can trust the tool. The tool will say, okay, you are not allowed to make that kind of payments. It will block the payment automatically. We can also define approval rules. For example, you say, if someone has to make a payment above 1 million, it has to be approved by the team manager. And when the team manager has approved it, it has to go to the CEO. And when the CEO approved it, then the money can go. So as you can see, you can decentralize financial management by letting people empower your employees to manage their finances, because you've defined the process, you've defined the rules, and the tool is here to implement it automatically. You don't have to do anything. It will be implemented automatically. And imagine then you continue to grow and you need funding to scale. You need to talk to financial institutions. That's also where Budgety can come via our reporting features. And the only fact that you use Budgety can help you to raise funds. Why? Because it shows it's a really strong message to the financial institutions to say, okay, these guys are serious, because we can control how they manage their finances, because they have the reports, they have the transparency, they can share all the detailed report about how they manage the finance, and we can assess if we can grant them a loan or whatever kind of funding. So as you can see, the beauty of Budgety is the fact that we can support you in every stage of your growth. Because one difficult part when you choose, you have to choose a tool to manage your internal process, is the fact that, okay, this tool is adapted now, but tomorrow, if my budget changes, if I grow, if I scale, if anything changes, what happens? If you have to transfer everything to another tool, it will be very cumbersome. With Budgety, the beauty of it is the fact that, yeah, we are here when you are small, and we will be still here when you will grow, because our goal is to see you grow. That's our mission. That's why we built Budgety, is to enable companies to grow. And as has been said before, if you are a small company, you should be ambitious. The goal should be to be a medium company. If you are a medium company, you need to have the ambitions to be bigger, bigger, and bigger. That's where you as a person will grow, your business will grow, your region will grow, Nigeria will grow, and Africa will grow as well.
Amazing, amazing, amazing. Thank you so very much, Sammy, for that. Now, of course, take note that if you have further questions about how the product works, several options to how you want to take it, you could ask right here. Sammy could help you pick on some of those questions, but most importantly, you could also really just check, the Google. I mean, I would have them send the details of how you can reach Bujeti, where you can ask your questions, the website, all that type of details, so that I could give it so you could also go and make more research. I assure you, for Smeden to have taken the time to sit out, to pay attention, to bring this conversation to you, it's because there's something to look out for. There's how Bujeti can help. And I hope that you're able to take advantage of that. And now that we speak of help, ladies and gentlemen, let's bring up Mrs. Afiza Bello. How you doing, ma'am? Are you still with us? I'm sure that you
Yeah.
are. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. I'm really looking forward to hearing from you again. Now,
Thank
I
you.
want to ask, yeah. Now, before you found Bujeti, before this conversation of such electronic structure, using softwares and apps, and especially the oneness that the Bujeti platform provides, right? I know that we've had several apps and softwares and tools to help with structure generally over the last decade or two, popping up with different firms trying to create such. But I like to think that this is one of the first times, or one of the first firms that brings it all in one dashboard all at once with such uniformism. Now, before this situation, what were some of those financial or operational challenges that you faced in your business, Mrs. Afiza?
Good afternoon. Once again, it's my pleasure to be here. First of all, I would like to explain where I'm coming from so we can understand. As a business or owner, especially in a country like ours, Nigeria, it's very difficult. And my own business is the bakery, where we produce dailies, breads, and all that. So you can imagine that we deal with different kinds of people, and we deal with artisans. So this makes the whole thing very difficult. One thing a bakery business brings forth is, inventory. You need to know how many loaves of bread comes out from a particular product, from a bag of flour. Because you can think you're having 100 loaves or something. Someone will now report 60 loaves to you. What does this mean? You are working for someone else. So we had difficulty initially with, inventory tracking, because we still have to keep up with the financial, what have you. Now, the major problem was lack of financial control. We couldn't keep records. We couldn't keep centralized financial, we couldn't keep it across all our branches. In fact, to be honest, I was scared of opening other branches. I didn't want to expand because I was already getting, overwhelmed with the daily activities. Now, coming from the usual bakery thing, it was manual financial processing. And we're prone to mistakes and all that. So all those things were kind of stalling our growth. And I was scared. Can you hear me? Hello?
Yes, Mrs. Afiza, so we can hear you.
Okay, good. So, we had this we couldn't grow, we couldn't expand, even though I wanted to, but we're already getting exhausted. So when we got this blueprint of the Bujeti, whatever, we saw the blueprint, we saw the dashboard, we're like, oh, this is what I really need to take me from being in the survival mode to expanding. It will interest you to know that since I came up on Bujeti in March, I have opened 3 more outlets. We have opened one at the Maitama, the other Galadimawa, and we are looking at Life Camp and Abuja University, because of the way we centralized the financial records. If anyone that knows me knows that by 8 a.m. I'm out of my house, running to the bakery to start, looking at records, are these complete and all that. I'm looking at budgeting and all that alone. Though I've got my general manager, my operation manager, we've got the supervisors on different floors, but still, I still need, as the chief executive director, to be on top of my game. I can't sleep, I can't do anything. And trust me, being a mother is not easy too, caring for children. So it was a lot, it was cumbersome. Now, one of the financial problems we had, especially in 2021, 2022, was mainly the issues of, giving drivers products to take to different locations, different states. And it will please you to know that, or it will be displeasing for any business owner to hear that, madam, the money, they have not finished paying me, whatever. These people, some of them, they are engaged, they are alcohol, they take alcohol, they do whatsoever. Before you know it, you have lost 400, 500,000 on that trip. So what were we able to do? We just brought up a policy. None of our outlets should pay to any driver. And here is Budgeti bringing all our bank accounts into one platform. We just pay and we confirm, we give invoices, follow up automatically, and we get our payments. So first off, Budgeti, before Budgeti, it was, I won't lie to you, it was really crazy keeping up with our finances. In the aspect of budgeting, it was a difficult thing for us. We couldn't project, we couldn't go for financial assistance and all that. Where and when not to put our money. Take, for instance, I told you that we were giving cars, drivers, buses, vehicles to take products to other locations. We had to change that because we discovered that we could build trucks close to the people that take these products. And we have this policy that you just pay, you don't pay cash, you just pay directly to our accounts. So I don't know if I've been able to
with very clear instances, in fact.
Because running a business in Nigeria is something else.
Yes.
You understand? And bakery business, when they see some amount of money, they don't even know that is even the capital. Those people will think, see, I'm with a lot of money, So one thing that Budgeti has been able to do for us is to keep cash away, which is very important. Now, the account department can, before I know it, I'm not running after anybody to give me my money. The different outlets knows once they receive, they confirm they have received products. The next thing, we receive alerts, and we try again to get the ingredients that have not been adulterated. You know, it is very important. It is very important because in as much as we put structures in place, don't forget the trust issues. You know, the normal Nigerian saying that now where man they chop, where man they walk, they
chop. Why did they call our workshop?
You know, so you know, so as a brand owner, I do not want anything to tamper with my products. I make sure I get most of my important ingredients from the importers themselves. Now, if you leave it for the normal, I'm sorry to keep, I'm sure the other business owners here will understand that the Nigerian factor is very important. Let's not deceive ourselves.
I mean, the ecosystem of the place where you are, the move of the environment where you're doing your business would always matter. Nigeria,
Yes.
You know, it cannot be stated without.
It can't be understated, underemphasized. So I have to make sure I look into all these things. Getting the original product. You can imagine if anything goes wrong with production, and I have got like a whole bag of or a whole set of spoiled products. You know, that has even eaten into my capital. We're not talking about even the profit.
Yeah.
So here, Bugatti has been able, I know what is going out. And you know, and another very important thing is the expense. Tracking these expenses. A driver will tell you he has to buy fuel, this, that, and he wants to go with the cash. With the budgeting system, you just send them the card. You just give them the card.
With cards.
Yes.
That allows you to have multiple cards connected to the same account.
Yes.
And on the card on how much this driver can spend.
Yes.
So if you put 20,000 naira limit on that card,
they can't exceed it.
And let's assume that they get there and then for some reasons they truly need more money. All they have to do is reach out to, you know, your admin, and they can just reach again by maybe another 20,000 naira. You don't have to start transfer. Have you seen the alert?
Yes.
Have you seen?
You know, have you confirmed this all and all? It's, you know, so it's actually giving us room to expand. For instance, Oven Fair is looking at being in about 50 estates before the end of this year. These were things that I was scared of thinking about.
That's amazing.
You know, so now we are reducing the human traffic. A driver will not tell you, the carburetor, the what have you, my tire has issues and all that. We just send to locations and our products will get to the consumers in the best shape.
Amazing. Yeah. Amazing. Mrs. Afisa, I cannot ignore, you know, the passion that I see that you have for your business. And I'm happy to see you speak about this, you know, this product and how it has helped your business. I'm happy to hear that passion in your voice. And why this is important, I think it's genius that after, you know, Bugatti and Smedham had decided to gather, you brought Sammy, they brought Mr. Ado, Dr. Funto. I think it was very important to also have brought you, who is experiencing the business in itself, the practicality of the said product, the practicality of partnership could actually give us. And it's very impressive that within March now, you have 3 new branches based off a big factor of the fact of the structure that Bugatti has given you. By the way, congratulations on your.
Thank you.
Best of luck on the many more that is coming.
Thank you. Thank you.
If it's going to be a reception, please do not hesitate to reach out to us. All right. All right. I will still run back to you. to touch down on this, but I really do hope that, you know, we really got that. We really got how important this product is into our businesses, you know, how it makes the process a lot easier. I really hope you jumped on that. And just in case you have any practical questions that you also want to ask Mrs. Afisa on how this works. I know you might have questions for Sammy. I know you might have questions for, you know, Dr. Funto. I'm seeing a lot of conversations happening on the chat box. Amazing. Thank you guys. Remember to drop your questions. I see questions coming in already. But remember to drop questions for, you know, Mrs. Afisa as to how how you might want to understand how the product works. What's this thing? You know, what are you not understanding yet? You know, you might want to say, Shebi, Sammy is trying to sell a product. Oh, Shebi, you know, Dr. Funto is just, you know, doing a job. You might want to say that, as untrue as that is, you might want to say, but at least you can't say that, you know, Afisa is not a business person benefiting from the advantages of this product. Dr. Funto, I need you one more time. One more time before I then open the floor. I'll need you and Sammy one more time before I open the floor to, you know, taking questions from our very amazing, organized, delectable, smart, intelligent, entrepreneurial audience, right? Dr. Funto, now we've heard a lot about Bujeti. We've heard a lot about its partnership with Smeden, right? We've heard a lot about that. On this call, we have over 30 businesses. And if you have 30 businesses, you have a minimum of over 300 employees. You have a minimum of over 300 to 3,000 employees who are benefiting from these conversations already, right? But in the meantime, how then do you help? What are the plans for Smeden to allow me to restructure that? How does Smeden plan to support the rollout of this partnership across the country? How can SMEs take advantage of it starting today? That's my question for you, Dr. Funto.
Okay, thank you for the question, moderator. How is Smeden looking at supporting the rollout of the partnership? It starts with awareness creation and a lot of awareness creation. So we're sensitizing the MSMEs. Even this program is part of the sensitization. We've had our business development service providers also sensitized. The business development service providers are the consultants that work with the MSMEs where Smeden itself cannot reach. And the intention is for them to get to know this product, get to know how it works, get to know the benefits for them, educate the MSMEs on the benefits that they stand to gain from this partnership and the available resources that are available to them from it. So it's majorly sensitization at this point. The more the sensitization, the more the understanding of the benefits from it, then the MSMEs can also take advantage of it and use these products. More so, we have a discussion, an ongoing discussion with Bujeti to look at the possibilities of finding a specialized or a different package for MSMEs that are from Smeden as an incentive for more MSMEs to come on board. If there is an incentive, and if all goes well, we should have an incentive structured specifically for the MSME space to be able to take advantage of Bujeti and be able to improve their operationalization, improve their financial structures, improve the way the businesses run, and of course, survive over a period of time. We're also looking at workshops and trainings that we're going to have in the year 2024, 2025. We are going to inform and, if possible, create training programs within some of those workshops to educate and empower the MSMEs to see what Bujeti is offering and how they can take advantage of it. It gives them some level of comfortability knowing that this is what the product is. It also gives them the ability to take the decisions by themselves to be financially literate. Because once you are financially literate and you understand what scalability is and you understand the benefits of the opportunity of being structured, you don't need anybody to tell you to pick on Bujeti as one of the tools or any other tool. But we are advocating for Bujeti because we have seen what they are able to do with their tools. Then the last but not the least is that we are looking at partnerships. Partnerships with local communities, partnership with local organizations to see how we can increase the widespread of Bujeti in our communities. The more the information out there, the more the understanding of the benefits, I'm sure more SMEs will be able to use. So that's our structure at the moment. Thank you
so
very
much.
much. If there's another question, I will be willing to answer.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Dr. Funto. I was happy when you mentioned about the possible partnership. I mean, the possibility of the partnership help, with the, special benefits as regards to the cost, right? That's on one side. Also, Mr. Adobelo earlier had spoken about how he thinks this product is too cheap, for the value that it brings, right? Already too cheap. But then I think Sammy has a fantastic message for you, despite something about a 50% discount for those who are joining through uh this partnership between Smedan and Bujeti. Now, Sammy, what are these key benefits
All
for
right, thank you.
Bujeti through the partnership?
Yes, Bujeti is already not cheap, but not very expensive, and we already have other benefits for the companies that are coming from the partnership with Smedan. The first one is related to support. The companies that are coming through Smedan partnership will enjoy a specific support, dedicated support to help them to build their financial processes on Bujeti. We understand that for some companies, those processes are already defined but not digitalized, so it can be, well, they might need some help to digitalize the process on Bujeti. So we'll dedicate time and resources to make sure that everybody understand how it works and is supported fully. The second part is, as you said, specific discounts of 50% on the subscription fees for the companies that are coming through the Smedan partnership. And there is also another thing that is important to mention. As I said before, using Bujeti can help to get access to funding. And we also have partners that are already committed to support businesses that are using Bujeti. I'm not saying that all the businesses that use Bujeti can have access to this funding, but using Bujeti will be we will give them priority access to request funds from these partners.
All right. Thank you very much, Sammy. Thank you very much. Touching base very quickly, I'm going to then go straight to asking questions that, has come from the audience. I'm just going to suss out some of them. We're getting to the end of this, by the way. Thank you very much for sticking around. Thank you very much for having such a good time with us. And we are rounding it up. I'm going to ask this question. What does it take for Bujeti to offer these services to SMEs? I don't know if we might have touched down on that, but just in a more as directly as possible. Sammy, do you want to answer that for me? What does it take for Bujeti to offer these services? I'm not sure what angle this answer might come from, but let me just help us touch down on that, Sammy.
I'm not sure to get the question, to be honest.
What does it take? So maybe how can they access Bujeti?
Okay, well, you can already sign up on Bujeti via our website. So you go on www.bujeti.com and you can register. Then you just have to complete your KYC information and you are ready to go.
Okay.
Everything is automated, so you just have to register on the platform, complete your KYC, and yeah, that's as easy as it is.
Okay, Bujeti is spelled Bujeti. All right, I have this very fantastic question, and I think I'd want, Mrs. Afiza and Dr. Fonto to answer this, right? And it says, what's that one habit that every growing SME should start today, no matter how small they are? What's that one habit that every growing business should start today, no matter how small they are? Mrs. Afiza, as quickly, and then Dr. Fonto.
Okay. Every SME, one of the habits that I feel is very important is you can't over emphasize that they should be very prudent in the spending. I don't know if you got that.
Yes. Frugality in expenditure.
Yes, you need to minimize it and be very, how do I put this again? Someone should help me.
It's okay.
You need to
Be prudent.
be very
Prudent.
prudent, please.
Yeah,
Be
prudent.
very
I
prudent.
thought I'd heard you use the word already. All right, go on.
I already used, but I needed to, hammer on it. Why
Yes.
did I say this? Whatever comes in, however big it is, if you don't manage how it goes out, it's still like being penny wise, pound foolish. I don't know if you got that.
Yes.
See, as a chief executive officer, no matter how standard your structure is, you still need to keep an eye on the day-to-day activities. Because you see the vision. You are the person that founded this whole organization. So you need to always make sure it's around, it's looking like what you want, what you ever say before you started.
Please, in case you should mute your audio, please. Okay.
Before you started. Like
Okay.
I'll take, for instance, Oven Fair partnered with Smithern in the last program they had. And I was supposed to send, the head of marketing was supposed to take the model, the what do you call it, the samples. But I did myself. And getting there, it looked like there was no need for the chief executive officer herself to take this product. Yes, there are people that could do this. But something happened. There was a twist. And we discussed with the director. And he said, why don't you do this way? And immediately I was able to take that decision there. And it made everything go smooth. Imagine sending someone and they start struggling with, okay, we'll get back to you. So some decisions should be taken right there.
So I hear you say in the one habit, right? You gave us two different prudence, and the second is absolute involvement with the process as a founder.
Yes.
All right. Don't too early take your eyes off the business and say, oh my God, I'm a CEO now. I can just jet to Spain while everything is good. Of course, there are days where you'll be able to pull that off, but as much as you can, be as involved as you can get with your business. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Dr. Funta?
Yes, I'm here. So let me add to that.
Yes.
Be prudent, be involved in your business, be consistent in tracking your financials. Be consistent in tracking your financials. Your MSME you want to grow, you need to know what is coming in. You need to know what you are expending. You need to know what your cash flow looks like at any point in time. You also need to know your inventory. You need to know what exactly is bringing in more money and what is bringing in less. Because all of these things are part of what makes your financial record, and your ability to monitor it determines if you will make more profits or if you will lose money in the business. So those are very key. The last but not the least is make sure that the business has a vision. The vision in the sense that you have missions and you have objectives and goals you want to achieve. So you start your business as a sole proprietor. Don't be comfortable in the space that you're a sole proprietor. Design your process in such a way that you have growth in the process and follow up those steps to be able to achieve those objectives and see the business grow. My business today is turning in 10,000 naira. Put a milestone and put your objectives, short-term objectives and long-term objectives, to say, okay, in 6 months, I expect from 10,000 naira, I should be able to grow to making, say, 20 or 30, depending on the sector of the business you are operating in. So, which means know the business well, know what generates money for you, and also aspire to grow. Don't be comfortable in your space. What we find out with most of our small businesses is they are comfortable in their space. And therefore, you find out that they don't grow, and after a short while, they die. So, from the beginning, be intentional to grow, ensure that you can financially track what is happening, have a vision for the business and follow the vision. And I'm sure with these habits, the business should survive and grow. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Dr. Funto. I think one of the important things that I'm taking from what you said, is if you don't grow, the businesses die. So like stagnancy is not the opposite of growth when it comes to businesses. Business death is, right? So you're either growing or on your way to your business closing down, because you want to think to yourself that why is it not okay for me? Maybe I just all that, but like growth is very important, to sustain the lifespan or the backbone of your business. You have to want to grow, right? And Smidan ex Bujetti is trying to make sure for that. Thank you so very much, Dr. Funto. I look forward to opportunities to sit, under your tutelage as to what it is and how to grow a business. SMEs, that are exposed to what Smidan has to offer. The quality on this call just says that they're exposed to the right things, the right knowledge, and of course, with Bujetti here, the right tools. This has been an amazing conversation. But before I go, I want to take one final message from each of our guests on this conversation, which will be from Sami to Dr. Funto and then to Afiza, right before we round this up. It's been an amazing conversation. Please, what will be your final message? And I don't want to be specific about it, so I could really just open that door, that floodgate, to you just explaining to us what it is, the one thing that you would want we founders, we business owners, we small business owners, we medium business owners, we large business owners here, one thing that you would want us to go home with from each of you, starting with Sami.
Thank you very much. I will double down on the conversation about vision. I hear a lot of things like, okay, we are doing that because we used to do it, because it's the way we are doing business, because it's like this in Nigeria. I cannot count how many times I hear that kind of sentence, because it's like this in Nigeria. Why do you use this vendor? Because he's a friend, even if the product or the service is not the best. That's how we do. And we need to quit these mindsets. We need to really focus on an ambitious mindset. Be ambitious, work with the best only. I'm sure that budget is the best tool today in Nigeria, but that's not the point. Not only for financial management, use the best tool that are in the market. Don't work with your friends, work with the best. Be ambitious. And yeah, you need to have this vision to grow. And it's not only on a personal level. We need to do it collectively. We need to build this ecosystem of people that are ready to grow and are ambitious for them, for the community, for the country, for the continent.
Amazing. I like your touchdown with people saying that's how we do it. We understand that the system might have made that look normal, systemically normal, but you have to stand out, just like Afiza, who is standing out by saying, despite the fact that this is how the process seems, this is what the old way looks like, I am happy to experiment with the new ways and find easier ways to achieve this. Thank you very much, Sami, and thank you for what you do at Bujetti. Dr. Funto, your final words.
Final words. SMEs, we have what we call the growth strategy. And the growth strategy in Smidan says G for guidance, R for resources, have access to all the resources that you need. The O represents opportunities that are available to you all around. And the W speaks to workforce support, which we are willing to give to you for you to grow. Bujetti is one of our partners and a partner that we're willing to go a long way with. But we strongly believe that for that to work, the MSMEs must be intentional. They must be interested in growth. And as they do that, we would all do well because the MSMEs will survive. I, as Smidan, would be happy because my objectives are achieved. And of course, Bujeti also, their objectives will be achieved because their tools is making a difference in the community. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Dr. Funto Babangide. Thank you so much. Mrs. Afiza?
Okay, all right, thank you very much. One of my last words before leaving is to the business owners. As a business owner, it is your own responsibility to put the right people in the right positions. You don't do family, you don't do friends. If you want this business to grow and you want the best, you want rest for yourself, you should make sure you put the qualified people in the specific roles. Work with the best, like Mr. My COO, Bujeti just said. Yeah, work with the right people and only the right people. Thank you.
Oh my God, amazing. Amazing. I see somebody here quickly giving flowers to Dr. Funto. It's Lilock Nigeria Limited, leading bag manufacturer in Nigeria, of course, and exporter. Thanks to Dr. Funto. I can only imagine if we began to take testimonies of how either Smedan or Bujeti has affected your business, we probably won't be out of here in the next few hours. But ladies and gentlemen, it has been an amazing, amazing, amazing conversation. And thanks to you, and thanks to our speakers, starting with Dr. Adobelo in absential, who was with us in the very beginning and gave us what I would call a mini masterclass. He's the Director of Enterprise Development and Promotion. We'll have Dr. Funto send our regards and our appreciations and thank yous to him from here, letting him know that we had a good time. We're very grateful, and we're looking forward to all the magic that Smedan and Smedan and Bujeti are going to come together and bring together. We also have had Dr. Funto Babangide, the Assistant Director of Enterprise Development at Smedan. She has given us such a qualitative perspective to everything that we've spoken about on this webinar. And of course, to Sami, the COO, the Chief Operating Officer at Bujeti, and of course, the CEO of Oven Plus Limited, Mrs. Afisa Bello. They've been such an amazing guest. We've had such a fantastic conversation, and I've been so glad to have had the privilege to man this. Thank you so much to our speakers. Thank you to everyone who joined us live. This was a great conversation, and we hope that we have been able to leave you with practical ideas on how to put structure in place and to grow your business with confidence. Now, if you are an SME looking to grow with structure, now is the time. Through this partnership with Smedan, you can sign up for Bujeti at a 50% discount, 50% off, and get access to the financial tools and support your business needs, right? You have a chance if you're signing up through Smedan, and there is an entire website built for this purpose, www.bujeti.com/Smedan, www.bujeti.com/Smedan. Bujeti is spelled Bujeti. Smedan is spelled Smedan. www.bujeti.com/Smedan to get started today. Also, remember to follow Bujeti and Smedan on LinkedIn and all social media spaces so you don't miss out on what this rollout process would look like, so you don't miss out on the advantages the partnerships can bring for you, and also, more importantly, so you don't miss out on every other thing that Smedan as an organization and Bujeti as a firm has to offer you. These are two of the best in the game coming together to give you one amazing opportunity of structure, of growth, of oneness, of control in your business. I have had an amazing time. And before I forget, I'd like to reintroduce myself. I've been your moderator today. I've had a swell time doing it. In a heartbeat, I'll do this over and over again. My name is Deji Onodeko. I'm the Chief Executive Officer, founder at Red Lantern Media, a 360 digital media solutions firm operating here. Fantastic time. Who is that interrupting my reintroduction? It's been a fantastic time. Thank you very much.